Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel Ek Kitab Se Ek Moti. Today's video is going to be on the Commission for Scientific and Technical Terminology. So it's a Government of India organization, institution. It comes under the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Department of Higher Education. So I'm just going to discuss some of the books they have published because I was just looking at this website, this the portal, I think Exotic India. So they sell a lot of unique and rare books. So I was just looking at some of the books published by the Commission for Scientific and Technical Terminology, and I really liked the way they have put so much effort into translating technical scientific terms, not just scientific, terms related to science, administration, management, philosophy, and the different sciences, for example, humanities and physics, chemistry, biology, nanotechnology. So it's vast. They have a huge collection of books on all these subjects, and they have done a great job of translating these terms into their equivalents, Indian equivalent. So I'm going to focus on Hindi, as that's my mother tongue. That's the language I understand best. So I'm just going to focus on the books they have published on Hindi and English. That is, the books that they have published on the technical terms of English that can be used in Hindi as well. They have done a translation of the English technical terms into Hindi. So let me just look at some of the titles that are available on the website of Exotic India, and I'm just searching for books related to the Commission for Scientific Terminology. I'm looking at the books published by the Commission for Scientific and Technical Terminology. It's called Vaigyanik Tatha Takniki Shabdavali Ayog in Hindi. I'll be making another video in Hindi, so you can take a look at that video as well. So some of the books, I'm just going to mention some of the titles here. So there is this glossary of minerals and excuse me, I'm sorry. So we have this glossary of minerals and mining. That's one. Then we have this definitional dictionary of journalism. Then we have a comprehensive glossary of science. Then biology, learner's glossary, toxicology and medical jurisprudence, glossary of nanotechnology, political science glossary, glossary of steel and non-ferrous metallurgy, physics learner's glossary, space science glossary, then glossary of linguistics, and a lot of books are there. Glossary of home science, then glossary of petrology, glossary of forestry, glossary of geophysics terms. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever your field is, you can just pick up a book or buy a book related to your field, or I think some of these books can be downloaded from the website maintained by the Commission for Scientific and Technical Glossary. So you can take a look at those websites as well. So then there is one called Learner's Glossary of Mathematics. So I'm just going to focus on this one and maybe the one on the glossary related to administration. So let me see if I can get some words from these two and just give you a taste of what the books look like. So let me first read a few words from the Learner's Glossary, and then we'll just discuss some terms. So it's called Learner's Glossary of Mathematics, English to Hindi, and it's in Hindi. It's titled Shiksharthi Ganit Shabd Sangrah, Angrezi to Angrezi se Hindi. So I'm just going to look at some terms and their Hindi equivalents. I think our thinking capacity improves if we think in different languages, and especially in our mother tongue as well. So let's say, for instance, we have mathematics. So when we have words like equation or logarithm and calculus, derivative, and so on, and what else, like fractions and square root operations research, and we have all these different subjects in mathematics and vectors and quite a few terms. So what I'm trying to say is, if you try to know their terms in Hindi as well, your thinking power will improve. Like for example, I'll tell you about my own experience. So I always used to have a doubt as to why A into B is always equal to B into C. And the other thing is, when we have this thing called A into B, then what's the difference between B into A? We take a term and then we operate them in a slightly different way. But then I got an understanding when I started thinking about that using the Hindi terminology, which is they have this term called gunya and gunak for, let's say A into B, then I think A is the gunya and B is the gunak. So when I use that term and I started thinking, I got a better grasp of the multiplication process. Now that's a trivial example, but then what I'm trying to say is, even for higher mathematics, if we can use our own language and think about them, then I think we can really do something new in that field. And I think research papers should be published in the languages of India as well. And I'm talking about international research papers. I'm not sure whether they are published. There are any international research magazines available in Hindi. So I'm not very sure of that. But what I'm trying to say is, if we start doing higher mathematics and also higher physics and anything that's high level in any subject in our own tongue, I think we can do a lot for our language, and also we can do some research in our mother tongues, and ensure that high level research is done in our mother tongues as well. So that's what I'm trying to say. So let's look at some of the terminology related to mathematics. Let's see what they are called in Hindi. So add is called yog karna jodna. Then we have addition, yog, jod, sankalan. Let me see if I can have some terms that are a little difficult. So then we have addition of polynomials, bahupadon ka yog, addition of vectors, so sadishon ka yog. So vector is a sadish, it's called sadish in Hindi. Then we have additive, it's additive or additive. Additive universe, it's yoj pratilom. Then we have aerodynamics, so it's called vayu gatiki. Then we have algebra, it's called bij ganit, bijavli, bij kriya. So these are some of the terms here in A, and then let's see if I can get some terms from B or C. So we have got this Boolean algebra, so it's called Boolean bij ganit. So I think almost all the terms that you'll come across in English, you'll find a Hindi equivalent for that. So I think that's what I've been telling my sons, that they should know both these terms and they should know them well. So one thing we can do is we have these NCERT textbooks, right? They are available in both the languages. So I think one thing that we can encourage our children to do is to read the chapters in English and then read them in our mother tongues as well. I think on the NCERT website, you have them in three languages, English, Hindi and Urdu. So you can choose the language that you're comfortable with. So English and then the language that you understand best. So digital, it's called Ankiya. Digit is an Ank. Then we have a term called equidistant. It's equidistant, samadurast. Euclidean geometry, Euclidean geometry. And then we have this exponential theorem, Charaghatanki prameya. So what I'm trying to say is, if our children understand these terms in both the languages, their thinking processes will improve and their understanding of the subject will be better. Now let me, as I promised earlier, look at some of the terms related to administration. So this is from the Glossary of Administrative Terms, Prashasnik Shabdavali. Let me just read a few terms that I can see from the exotic website. So we have identical representation, Saman Abhyavedan. Then we have abbreviation, Sankshipti, association. Association. I think I'm looking at another word here. Then abolition, Unmulan, Samapti. Then we have immediate, Tatkal, Asanna. Immigrant, Apravasi. Then improvement, Sudhar, Samunnati. In camera, Band Kamre mein, like in some cases where they have this discussion, or some of the judicial processes go on in a room. I think they call it in camera. So that's what it seems to mean. Imposition, Adhiropan. So if you can take advantage of that, that'll be great. I mean, so many people have put so much effort into all this, into making this glossary. So why don't you take advantage of that and improve your thinking skills and also your communication skills in both the languages, English and your mother tongue. Thanks for watching this video.